Hey guys, so today's question comes from Stu, who's actually a Frontline Man Dojo member. And he put this question out to the community, but then he tagged me to make a video on it. And so here's what he said. He says, "Hey crew, I'm at the point of pretty solid burnout, like completely done, cup empty. Fortunately, I'm still able to function and work, so it's not like a debilitating can't get out of bed situation, more like if you look at me funny, I'll rip your throat out type burnout. What this points to in my mind and brain being completely exhausted with problem solving and managing difficult people. I tend to find if I'm like this, I've got to be careful with hard exercise, etc., which is great for burnout and depression generally, as I can get really sick. So my question to any of you who can help, if you've been in this position above, have you navigated the path out of burnout with careful and systematic steps?" So this is a great question. And I think it's something that a lot of guys struggle with. I know Stu in particular, he's got businesses, job, family, all this other kind of stuff. And so he's got a lot on his shoulders right now. And he's gotten to the point where he's so overwhelmed that he's, struggling to show up properly. And the solution is pretty straightforward, okay? You got to take a break. And the immediate response is, well, I can't take a break. And this is where you just got to be a little bit logical. If you stay at this point, what are you really operating at? Scale of what percentage of performance in terms of your maximum performance are you really achieving while you're burned out? Chances are you're probably like at 20%, ability, maybe up to 50%. You're definitely not 100%. And you're probably not even at 80% of like your efficiency and focus because you're so burnt out. And so you ask yourself, all right, if this is where I'm at right now, and if I just let this keep going over a month, all right, a month of operating at 20% efficiency and focus, it's like, okay, you could do that, or you could take a few days off, right? Just give yourself a few damn days off, get that yourself recharged so that you can get back to focus. That's ultimately the right move. Now, I realize though that when you've got a business, you've got family relying on you, you can't just go and take a week vacation by yourself. And, even if you take time off, you're going to have kids there, you're going to have to deal with things. So how do you do this? How do you recharge yourself as quickly and efficiently as possible? And here's where I would recommend like a mini sort of like dopamine detox vacation. I'm talking like 1 to 3 days where you are getting extra sleep, okay? No pressure to be productive or solve anything or move any project forward. And then you just kind of recharge, right? And you recharge in a specific way. No screens, all right? Don't listen to podcasts. Don't watch TV. Don't scroll the internet, all right? Actually rest. Take naps, okay? Go in nature. If you want to meditate, that's great. If you want to pray, play with your kids if you got kids, okay? Spend some time and take a vacation from the getting things done mentality, because we've got two big appetites. We've got an appetite to make progress and get things done, and that uses a certain part of our brain. But then we also have an appetite to be present in life, to live life for the moment to some degree, right? And if you just overclock that part about getting progress, it's always living for tomorrow, always living for getting that next task or project done, always for trying to reach this new milestone, that part will just stop working, right? It'll just start pushing back. It'll make you irritable, make you want to lash out at people like you're talking about here. And you got to give that part a break. All right. And I think that avoiding the screens and the easy stimulation, it really helps, because one of the things that happens when you're not working and you're taking downtime, legitimate downtime, is that your brain is doing a digestion process. All right. It's like your brain is in the background processing all of your active problems. It's thinking about, it's chewing on them. It's like your subconscious is still working, but it's doing it in a passive way where you're not taxing your willpower or your focus. And what you're going to find is if you take, these 1 to 3 days off, recharge yourself, you're going to feel that desire to get back to work come back. All right. It's going to, you're going to feel more energized. And what's even better is that when you do start getting back to work, you're going to feel a whole new level of insight, inspiration, and clarity because you've allowed that digestion, that psychological processing to happen in the background. All right. And the key here to, for you, Stu, most likely, is that you have to see this as being productive. Even though we're kind of swearing off productivity for a few days, it is a productive thing because it's refilling your cup, right? And that's what you need. You can't pour out from an empty cup. You doing this is the most productive thing that you can do. And you have to give yourself permission to do this kind of thing. Today, what I want to be, recommending is like for anyone else who feels like they're dealing with overwhelm regularly in their life, and particularly if it's leading to escapism like porn or scrolling or anything like that, is I want you to check out my Craving Kill Box training that I've linked in the description below. And this one is useful because it's a method for using your calendar to make sure that you don't reach this overwhelm point. Because we have to create a psychological balance. We have to balance our desire for getting ahead with our desire to be present and enjoy life. And if you just, most ambitious guys particularly, they just try and ignore that second desire. They just try to become a robot who's just always working toward some outcome. And they end up stepping on their own feet. They end up basically stealing their own power and throwing themselves into imbalance, overwhelm, and ultimately just keep operating at a much lower level than they could be if they were in balance and if they were aligned, if they did have fulfillment, if they were properly recharged. And so, this Craving Kill Box training really helps you do that in a very efficient way that I think could be a game changer for a lot of people, particularly if you run your own business, if you have a family, if you're, trying to juggle your faith and all this other kind of stuff on top of it. Check that out. Click in the description. And as always, if you guys got more questions, shoot them over to me at podcast@frontlineman.com. I look forward to hearing from you, and also in the comments as well. So thanks for watching. See you on the next one. Yeah.